They say our lives are naught but a fleeting dream, that in cosmological terms a human lifetime begins, fizzles, burns brightly and quietly smoulders to its conclusion in the blink of an eye. And that may be, but it feels longer, especially when you're stuck in a queue or watching a progress bar or sitting in an uncomfortable chair staring directly at a clock while a man reads 1,000 depressing poems about municipal car parks.
The problem is the crushing loneliness of it all. If only we had someone else to experience things with, the whole thing might be somehow bearable. We are, all of us, alone. We enter this world alone and we leave it alone.
But with the invention of television, loneliness seemed to have been cured forever. Even if you stayed indoors 365 days of the year, your home would be filled with friendly human voices.
You don't matter. You're not important. You're not a person. You're not even lovable. You're not even capable of love.
Most of us somehow struggle through our daily routine in the sure knowledge that we're fundamentally alone, only occasionally being overpowered by the sheer aching pointlessness of it all. This man, for instance, has seen an advert for a remake of The French Connection starring Justin Bieber and has simply given up. What he needs is someone to love him. But then everyone wants someone to love them, even though no one knows what love is.
What would you say love is?
Love is a deep connection between two or more people.
Sorry, I have no conception of what that might be.
To make things worse, most of our romantic know-how comes courtesy of a flickering fibbing machine which can break any relationship before it begins. This week, how TV ruined your love life. Don't say it didn't, it did. According to television, the best way to end loneliness for good is to trick another human being into sharing your lifespan with you, to meet someone and fall in love. But what is love anyway?
When you're trying to work out whether you're in love or not, it's only natural to compare how you feel with what you've been taught about how being in love feels. And who taught you how being in love feels? Well, without ever really trying, the television bombarded you with misguided notions about romance from the moment you were first naive enough to swivel your eyes in its fibbing direction.
According to research, when it comes to getting information about love, 94% of young people turn to their television, while only 33% ask mum and 17% dad. But the plug-in parent is a liar, and the fictional world it portrays seeps into your skull, setting a misleading framework. There are two ways to ensure your relationship will be scuppered before it's even begun. One is to carve the phrase "I despise you" onto your forehead, and the other is to enter into it with wildly unrealistic expectations. Now, studies show a link between the amount of television people watch and the likelihood that they'll believe certain unhelpful relationship myths. Chief among these myths is the notion that there's a singular soulmate out there in the world for you. The thought that out of the many millions of people in the world, there's only one that truly belongs with you. One person, that's your helping. One. It's harder to get away with a grand gesture in an office, so it's little wonder people often dither when it comes to actually acting on their desires. And dithering can drive you mad, taking over your brain to the point where it becomes the biggest story of the day.
And if you've just joined us, our top story tonight. Feeling the heat, decision time for infatuated office worker. Pressure is mounting on South London search engine optimisation specialist Oliver Hammond as he weighs up whether to ask attractive co-worker Siobhan Lane out for a drink. According to witnesses, interactions between the pair have become increasingly noticeable over the past week. But Hammond's window of opportunity is thought to be closing fast. Karen Itis has this.
From the outside, Pixelated Crow looks like any other web design company. It has windows, a door, and is constructed from bricks. But within these walls lurks the potential for sexual intercourse and possibly more between 31-year-old Oliver Hammond and 27-year-old Siobhan Lane. Despite his intentions being clear, Hammond has yet to take decisive action. The problem is one of interpretation. Many of Siobhan's responses, laughing at jokes, shared interest in novelty iPhone apps and regular exchange of one-line emails, could be nothing more than regulation workplace politeness.
Compounding the issue, little is known of Siobhan Lane's life outside the workplace.
Hammond has reportedly noted that her Facebook relationship status modifier has been left blank. Although there are photographs of her in a holiday setting with a man she seems intimate with, it's not clear whether he's a current boyfriend or simply an ex. Either way, this mystery man hasn't been tagged. Experts say Hammond is currently in danger of succumbing to inertia and finding himself with little prospect of access to Lane's sexual organs.
If Hammond makes his intentions clear, then he'll either be classified as a somewhat creepy annoyance, or, and this is what he'll be hoping for, his advances will be accepted and he'll find himself entering her pocket of intimacy. The danger comes if he fails to do anything and she places him in the friend zone.
It's an analysis the public agrees with.
My advice to him would be just to go for it, you know. He needs to get a move on, doesn't he? Crack down and pull his finger out and ask her out.
Whatever he decides, it's clear time is of the essence if Oliver Hammond is to have any hope whatsoever of dissipating the cloud of romantic failure currently gathering over his head. Karenitis, South London.
Men seeking advice on how to win over a woman will find no shortage of role models on TV. Trouble is, they're all dicks. Often during the initial stages of romance, you're so desperate to bamboozle the magical creature sitting before you into mistaking you for a three-dimensional human being that you'll resort to telling ridiculous little lies in a bid to pretend the pair of you have something in common apart from your chronic addiction to oxygen.
Have you seen the Ceausescu execution video? It's really very funny.
Yeah, I do that too.
And the thing is, you're both doing this, so once the fog of war has dissipated, you're left with two people who covertly pretended to be two slightly different people fused together into one confused two-person chain gang. Not that you'll notice in the early days, no, you'll be too busy getting off with each other, which is as close as you'll get to enjoying the heightened passion of couples in the movies. Couples in the movies suffer from an insane level of desire, and they're always rutting outdoors like farmyard animals. They're often seen making out in the rain, in the snow. Actually, I think hail is the only unromantic weather condition. Dramas tend to portray sex between lovers as a wild, untamed, passionate, but ultimately hygienic expression of primal lust, which usually focuses on the woman's fulfilled face. You don't really see male expressions during lovemaking unless you study the cinema verite end of the romance market, where you discover that during sex, men tend to pull faces like they're concentrating hard on their craft in a key-cutting shop, or stumbling in a pair of uncomfortable shoes, operating a hammer drill, or playing keyboards for Depeche Mode. Anyway, despite this erotic bombardment, before long there'll be more sex on your bedroom TV than there is in your bedroom bed, but that's only natural. Research suggests that the first blossoming of love is accompanied by an increase in levels of a protein known as nerve growth factor, or NGF, which is thought to provoke butterflies in the stomach, sweaty palms, euphoria, you know, all that love shit. But NGF levels subside once a couple has been together for about a year, after which point, if you're lucky, that exhilarating rush of lust is transformed into a bond of loving companionship.
Love is like the flu. People often think they're experiencing it, but most of the time it's just a cold, and they only realise it was just a cold years later when they finally catch the flu for real, by which point they've got engaged to bloody Ian.
TV and the movies don't really provide many accurate examples of coupledom. Most fictional romances finish at the point of consummation, as though the hero's penis is a drawing pin that bursts the fictional universe bubble the moment he sticks it in. Tolerance, that's true love. In fact, I'd define true love as the ability to share one fridge with the same person for 17 years without resorting to fists. It also helps if you toss in the occasional basic crumb of affection.
Would you say you're disillusioned about
Yes,
marriage?
yes.
Don't think marriage is all it's cracked
No.
up to be?
No.
No?
No.
Does your husband show his gratitude to you in any way for all you've done? He doesn't?
No.
No way at all?
No, not really, no.
Does he ever buy you anything?
No.
Never bought you any flowers?
No.
Would you like that if he did?
Yes.
Yes, unless you cultivate a meaningful, quiet, unshowy love for each other, once the NGF leaves town, the dull tedium of life will wear your union down.
It's like being cellmates, except neither of you has to defecate in a bucket now and then while the other one lies on a bunk silently facing the wall. Every day the same person murping on and on about the same 3 or 4 subjects through their mouth, which not so long ago was a delicate, beautiful thing you enjoyed kissing, but now is just a sort of underwhelming content delivery system. Oh, you had a day at work, did you? Oh yeah, oh no, that does sound miserable. Oh, tell me about it. Tell me all about it. Tell me all about your life in detail forever. on and on burbles their mush cave, talking about stuff that happened to them and things they consider important, sharing their feelings while you just point your face in their direction and hope that your expression doesn't betray your aching isolation and your raging need to just open your own mouth and shout, "Oh, for God's sake, just shut up! Shut up!"
And all the while, the emotional rocket fuel that propelled you into this situation in the first place was expended long ago. Now there's no momentum left. So what do? Well, you sit there anaesthetising yourselves together, watching more television.
Yeah, staring at the same machine that helped you into this mess, the machine that threw pretty folk at you till your own self-worth was shat through a bin bag, the machine that said true love meant grand gestures and rampant sex, that hammered home the false idea of the perfect soulmate, which a flawed human partner with their toenails and earwax simply doesn't seem to be anymore. Television, the machine that wiped its arse on your Valentines. If your relationship is teetering on the brink of collapse, there is one thing TV can do to help. It can help make the breakup entertaining.
And if you just joined us, this is the scene in South London outside Oliver Hammond's home. We're expecting his girlfriend, Siobhan Lane, to arrive shortly, and our sources indicate she intends to terminate their 18-month relationship. Well, on the line now is Rita Sharma, friend and work colleague of Siobhan. Rita, is this a surprise?
Not really. I think we've all seen it coming. She's been getting suspiciously close with her friend David, who's just been through...
Sorry there to interrupt you, Rita. It looks like Siobhan is now arriving at the house.
Miss Lane, can you tell us what you're about to say?
Miss Lane, can you tell us how you're feeling?
Miss Lane, how does Mr. Hammond feel about what you're about to say?
Well, Miss Lane, clearly not giving much away there. So we're not really sure at this stage what's going on.
Have they got that right?
Inside, we'll certainly try our best to find out what is actually happening in there. Well, there's in the studio now a special breakup correspondent, Daniel Patat. Daniel, what's going on inside there right now?
Well, we can only speculate, but the likelihood is she's rather bluntly explaining it's over. Probably not looking him in the eye, although she's had the decency to do this face to face, so that's something. For his part, he'll doubtless fall to his knees, ask her to reconsider. There'll be some kind of humiliating display of anguish. Tears, gulps, mucus running from the nose.
A scene of abject desperation, then?
Absolutely. You have to remember, this man's world is ending, so he'll grasp at any remaining atom of hope, like a basic, horrified creature, utterly debasing himself in the process.
Is there any chance his degrading pleas might actually work?
None whatsoever. In fact, it'll probably strengthen her resolve. If we look at this cycle of ruin, we can see the more despondent he becomes, the less attractive he appears, which in turn makes him more despondent, and so on, until the whole thing spirals out of control, and before you know, he's lost her forever.
It looks like Miss Lane is coming out now, so let's go live to the scene.
Is it definitely over, Miss Lane? Is it definitely over? Confirm the relationship is over. Can you confirm? Did you know how Mr. Hammond crying? Is he definitely? Is he crying right now?
Still tight-lipped there. I suppose the question is now, what will Oliver do next?
Absolutely, and the answer is, well, he'll probably crawl over to the sofa and lie there feeling sorry for himself. He'll sniff, he'll wipe his nose, he'll run his hand through his hair, do a sad little cough. Then he'll probably have the odd moment of serenity before glancing at a photograph of him and Siobhan together and starting to blub again.
And now you've got to step back on the treadmill and go through the entire dispiriting process all over again, trying to find someone attractive, taking them on dates, having sex with them, sharing your feelings. Sickening, isn't it? And all because you're so desperate to find the one, this mythical, impossible one who probably never existed in the first place. Which means, unless you're very lucky, you'll wind up feeling like you're just settling. You know, there aren't enough love songs about just settling.
I'm ready, girl. Hey, baby. We've been together for a while now. And there is something I want to say to you. Yeah. Girl, you're not quite everything that I'd hoped you'd be. You're not that good looking, and I'm not really impressed by your personality. Yeah, pretty down. But I've been searching so long, so it's time I said to you, 'cause I don't wanna be alone. At the risk of not finding better, girl, you're due. at the risk of not finding better. Girl, you're due. You're pretty dark, baby. You are so tall. Let her know, man.